Well, we'll go ahead and get started because I definitely want to be cognizant of everybody's time today. So, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today for our area kickoff call. We know your time is very valuable, and we appreciate you being here, especially now that football season has started. I don't know about you guys, but I'm extremely excited that it's here because I think I've watched everything that Netflix and Hulu has to offer at this point. So to introduce myself, my name is Maya Richardson, and I'm the Vice President for Area 1. Again, we are so excited to be here with you today to continue preparing for our upcoming semesters. The purpose of today's meeting is to ensure that you are well equipped with all the tools and resources necessary for a successful school year, all of which are right at your fingertips. One of the great things about this call today is that we have representation from each one of our regions. On the call today, we've got Northern Rio Grande, Central Pacific, Desert Southwest, as well as Pacific Northwest. This venue serves as a great way for us to all share experiences with one another. Are there things that chapters are doing that you could possibly leverage or learn from? The meeting is meant to be an open forum, so please ask questions away. This year, as you guys all know, we've experienced a lot of changes due to the COVID pandemic. We are in an environment that none of us is familiar with, which creates a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknowns. What we've known to be a standard practice will need to alter to meet the needs of today. But that does not mean it has to be a bad thing. With all the many resources available to us, social media, virtual sessions, Zoom meetings, this gives us a chance to think outside of the box and to still accomplish all the things that we're set out to do. As you know, this is all brand new territory for everyone, not just our student members, but us as staff as well. So just like you, we're learning things as they occur and want to make sure we keep you up to date with everything to ensure that you are well prepared going into this virtual year. Now, before we get started, a couple of housekeeping items. Please be sure to put yourself on mute just to minimize any background noise that you may have. But also, please feel free to unmute yourself if you do have any questions along the way throughout this meeting. If you don't want to interrupt at the time, that's fantastic. There will be an open session very end of the meeting to where you can go ahead and ask those questions at that time, but definitely do use that chat feature on the side of your box as well. So now, before we get started and before we get into the meat of the session, we have a very special guest with us today. Please welcome Eileen Howell, who is our chairman of the board of directors, who has a couple of words to share with us today.
Thank you very much, Maya. I really appreciate the opportunity, as I said before, to Zoom bomb your meeting, and I won't take up too much of your time. But I just wanted to introduce myself to the people on the call. And just kind of let you know who I am and the fact that the board is here to support you. And there was some people on a prior area call, you know, I may be repeating myself, and you may have already done the math. I'm requesting everyone not to do the math when I mention that I joined the fraternity in 1978. I was at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Delta Phi chapter. So yes, I'm a cheesehead, but don't hold it against me. I do live in Texas now. So I am a Houston Texans fan. My husband, who is also a member of Alpha Kappa Psi, is a Texas Tech fan. We've been having a little bit of internet issues, as Jackie can attest to, this weekend. So the fact that it was the first football weekend has been a little bit of angst for us, but we're managing through it. But in Delta Phi, I was the first female president of that chapter because women were only brought on board a few years prior. I also served on the board of the foundation and was the first chairman of the board of the foundation. I've served on the fraternity board before. I wasn't the first female chairman of the board. That was reserved for another very welcome participant here today. But I am, as I said, currently the chair of the board. I have worked in industry in mostly oil and gas for the majority of my career. I worked in Singapore, I've worked in the UK, and obviously here in the US. So if any of the students are interested in understanding what it means to work overseas, I'm more than happy to chat with them about that. But right now, with what's going on today, I just want everyone to understand that the board is very cognizant of the challenges you have, and to take Andrea's line from a call before, it's not what can you do, but it is what can we provide to you in order for you to accomplish your goal. So the board is here. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. We're listed on the website, and I would personally welcome any communication that you'd like to have with me.
Thank you so much, Eileen, for your guiding words and just volunteering yourself as a resource. That means a lot to all of us. So thank you so much today.
All right. Well, you guys have a great meeting, okay?
Thank you. All right, so as you can see on your screen, we do have a great agenda set out for you today to go over a lot of the things that you're going to see throughout the duration of this year. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our fraternity president, Thomas Tran, to review over our operations plan.
Thank you, Maya. Welcome. First of all, welcome to the team. Looking forward to working with you in your new role. To Area 1, excited to be here and just kind of keep see what you all are doing and just kind of continue that engagement and communication as we move forward into the unknown. So today I wanted to kind of share kind of what we're looking from as a fraternity for this year. In the spirit of transparency, we want to share what's going on with the fraternity, because at the end of the day, this is a membership-based organization, and we need everyone, all hands on deck, to help us, because the future of this organization is dependent on our student chapters. So in regards to the state of the fraternity finances, we are going into this year with a budget shortfall of about $700,000 for this year. If you compare it to fiscal 19, which is 2 years ago, we had a budget of 3.7, and we're only budgeting 2.8. So that's where the shortfall is coming from. That's because we're expecting chapters not to bring in as many members during the virtual period. So that's where we kind of stand in that sense. However, we are in full support of our members, and we've looked at our numbers and see how can we continue to support our members during these times. And some of the things that we're doing is doing due reductions in fees. So for the fall dues, we have reduced our fees down by 10%, which is $54 per person. We've also worked with the insurance, pushed back on them, and we've reduced that to $3 per person to a total cost of $27 per person. In regards to convention savings plan, that was expected to increase to $350 this year, this semester. However, we have left it and suspended that and kept it at $250. Just to compare it to other organizations similar to us, none of those other organizations have reduced their fees. So we are in full support of our members, and doing this reduction, knowing that we're going to deficit, shows that how much we care about our members and how much we want to help as much as we can from this standpoint. So as we look into this year, we have developed a lot of fraternity-wide programs to supplement some of the programs you do at the local level. So Brotherhood Unbounded was recently launched, which Jackie will go into a little bit. But those programs, utilize those programs to keep your members engaged. You can use it as an add-on to what you're doing today, or you can use it to supplement what you do as a chapter. So don't stress out about getting presenters and things that you can utilize the Brotherhood Unbounded programs to supplement what you do. So you can focus on other things from a chapter aspect. We also are changing our chapter minimum standards into chapter minimum expectations. And this is to reflect the changes and that we are seeing, and to be to be even more flexible with our chapters, kind of into the unknown. We have 200 plus chapters who are facing 200 different ways of fighting COVID. So we wanted to provide some guidance and help you all, but not hold you accountable, not penalize you for not meeting certain standards. In addition, we do recommend we have flexible payment plans, and AKSI will not be charging any late fees for chapters for billing through November 30th. In addition, we are not planning for PBI this year. However, we will be developing a virtual event, which is called the Institute of Business Leadership, and that will be free for all due paying members. So we're taking the PBI experience over the weekend and turn it into a one-day workshop, which allows you to connect with students, with your student members across the fraternity, but also getting the same programming that you are used to at PBI. And then also, if you want to see more updates, a little bit more details about the operations plan, go to our aksi.org website, COVID-19 dues updates, to get a full readout of our operations plan and our financial situation as we move forward this year. With that being said, I would like to hand this over to Jackie, your EVP, to go over the Brotherhood Unbounded programs.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Again, like Thomas said, my name is Jacqueline Hinarte, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm the fraternity's Executive Vice President. I'll be going over Brotherhood Unbounded, and Thomas started to give a little bit as to how this came to be and what it means. But I think it goes beyond that, and I love that it's called Brotherhood Unbounded because it shows that we really have no boundaries within AKSI. And with that, I wanted to pause for a second and also thank everybody that's on the call, especially from Area 1, because yes, there's a lot of things going on, COVID-19, different things that are going on in our communities, but Area 1 right now and everything that is happening with all the wildfires and everything going on throughout your states, those of you that are on, we are here for you. We're here to support you. Our phones, our emails are open to you. Thank you for participating today and for continuing as everything is going on around us. If it's Area 1 with that, if it's Area 4 with different natural disasters, hurricanes and stuff, our brothers really show no boundaries when it comes to AKSI, and I appreciate everything that you guys do every single day and constantly work through. There's so many things that we worry about, if it's school or work or family, and AKSI is always top of mind for you guys as well. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that, because that is why Brotherhood Unbound came to be. Back in March, when everything really started to flare up with COVID-19, it was like, what are we going to do to really showcase and be there for our students? What could we do to help us get into this virtual world? And Steve and Thomas came up with an amazing plan, and then along with the management team and the Heritage Center staff, of how we could support each other. And that's how Brotherhood Unbound came to be. So some of the things that we can look forward to this semester with Brotherhood Unbound is, number one, is our mobile apps, which are available for Apple and Android phones. So the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, please download it. If it is so amazing that now I can get my notifications straight on my phone with the app, or I was even able to register to this event straight on my phone. I was like, oh my God, I have to register. I didn't have to rush home to get into a computer. I was able to do it out at Starbucks where I was. So please download the app. The Berkman survey is going to be offered to all dues paying members. This is one amazing comprehensive tool that is going to be given to you guys. It is usually used by Fortune 500 companies. Your presidents, if they were part of President's Academy last year, could definitely attest to it, and how much they were asking us, how could we bring this down to our student members? And here it is for you guys. So everybody that's a dues paying member, you get to have the opportunity to take the Berkman survey and then really go in depth into the working styles of it and what does that mean for you and how you can work with others, which of course leads to the Berkman small groups. So we will have volunteers that will be certified and trained to lead these small group discussions that will meet virtually and hopefully one day meet in person to go over this and really take an in-depth analysis on the Berkman survey and how it can really help you in your career and in your growth as a member of AKSI and just in the professional world. The next exciting thing is fraternity-wide virtual keynotes. So every month having a different keynote that will be presented to you guys. And the best part about it is that we have no boundaries right now through this, and we can literally have individuals from all over the world that are subject matter experts or expertise in certain subjects that are able to present to us, and we are able to present and log in and listen to it from anywhere in the world that we're at. Now, mind you, sometimes we might be joining and we're having breakfast or lunch or dinner, depending where in the world you're at, but that's the beauty of it. Wherever you're at, you can log in, zoom in, or listen to it afterwards as they're recorded, all of these keynotes that we're able to provide for you guys. Like Thomas mentioned earlier, we will not be having an in-person PBLI this year for safety reasons, but we will be having an Institute of Business Leadership that will be completely virtual. So instead of having to worry about cost of travel, room and board, different things to try to get to PBLI, you can now do it from the comfort of your dorms or from your house for all dues paying members. So how amazing is that if you don't have to worry about having to skip class early to try to drive up somewhere or take a flight, you don't have to worry about like, hey, how can I get my studies in? You can do it from the comfort of your house or your dorm, depending on your schedule, on the Institute of Business Leadership. And then last but not least, coming up in spring is our Principal Business Leadership Certificate. So again, as we hit different milestones throughout our time in AKSI or the different things that we're working on, it's the certificates that you will be achieving within AKSI as well. So all the different competencies that we're working on, depending on the officer positions that you're in, the different keynotes that you get to be a part of, the different programs that you get to partake in, you will definitely then, of course, be able to go into the Principal Business Leadership Certificate. So of course, like Thomas just posted, there is the website of where you can get more information about Brotherhood Unbounded. You can also on your phone, that is the quickest way for all the events and all the different things that you're able to be a part of, all the different keynotes that are coming along the way. I know earlier this week or last week now, we had our first keynote, which is one of the, or if not the most popular event we had at PBLI, which is negotiating your salaries. That was last week. And if you've missed that, make sure that we can get that recording to you. Again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you all for being on this evening. Thank you so much. Our doors are open for you. Thomas and I have an open door policy as well as all of our volunteers. So anything that you need, let us know throughout this time. We are here for you to support each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackie and Thomas, for that. So at this time, I will go ahead and turn it over to Shane Wakerling to provide us with a little additional details to the minimum expectations that Thomas had alluded to earlier on.
Hi, everybody. So yeah, instead of what we're all used to, we've kind of switched gears, and as Thomas and Jackie have both said, we're here for you, and we wanted to make things a little less stressful for all of you. Rather, instead of making the minimum standards, we enforce the goals to basically make it kind of what you guys need. So what you guys need as far as keeping people engaged, whether that's in person or virtually, or a smattering of both, depending on what's going on at your own chapters. Thomas said that, you know, we have over 200 chapters and we have over 200 different ways of doing things, so each one's unique. This gives us the flexibility, as well as you guys, to be able to do that. Basically a nice framework to work within. Recruitment. Complete two recruitments, virtual or if your campus allows it, a mixture of both, in person and virtual, in an academic year. One must be in the first term of the year, since some of you are on quarter systems or trimesters where you have more than just 2 terms in a year. Must follow Bridge to Brotherhood program with potential new members. I mean, we've been doing that for a little bit now, so it shouldn't be too much, and you all should have started submitting your Bridge to Brotherhood syllabi. If you haven't done so, do it, unless you're starting next term. Engage, complete virtual chapter events with 50% of members in attendance, cumulative per term. I know some of you guys have been asking, well, what's going on with that, or how do we count, or, you know, it's basically exactly how everybody is during the normal school year, as if we were in person. If somebody really can't do anything, LOAs are always an option. If you need extreme hardship or something other than an easy peasy, what you guys are allowed to do, contact your regional director and give them the reasons, and they will be able to provide those for you. Have 10% of chapter members, or a minimum of 3 of the, if the chapter has less than 30 members, in attendance at a fraternity-wide virtual session, such as the Institute Leadership, Business Leadership, later this year, or another one that we do decide to put on. And then retain, have at least 4 of the 7 core chapter officers complete their learning plans. If you have questions on those, again, reach out to your RMT to find out where to find those, or to one of our wonderful resource coordinators. Ours happens to be Amber. And then number 6, meet your chapter success plan year and chapter size goal. You guys have filled those out. They should have been approved by now. If you don't, or you have questions, again, reach out, let us know. And yeah, moving right along is Sahil and Daniel for virtual resources in a guide to recruitment.
Thank you.
All right, hey guys. So I want to apologize first off. My voice is like gone because college football started yesterday, so we all know how that goes. So I'm gonna let Sahil take the most of it, but I'll just knock out the introduction for you guys. First off, my name is Daniel Trevino. I'm one of the 3 section directors for the Northern Rio Grande region. So basically, what we're going to run through here. So the Heritage Center and management team has put together some really awesome resources to help support our chapters through the upcoming fall, or not upcoming fall, like the now fall and spring semesters here. So basically, over the next couple of slides, Sahil is going to be going over. So all these resources that we're going to be showing you guys here, basically, I guess best way to put it, they're living documents. Meaning, you know, as the semesters go on, we're going to add more and more to it, a lot more resources, a lot more opportunities to give these chapters to, you know, not only learn from, you know, the information we're throwing out there, but, you know, just to kind of build those chapters up and just provide that really awesome, you know, resources there. And honestly, I know me and Sahil have kind of talked about it, but, you know, we really recommend after this call, you know, getting with, you know, chapter advisors, the SDs, and just sitting down with, you know, each chapter officers, and just going through these documents and just, you know, taking a look at all of this really helpful information and resources, you know, throughout, not like, well, obviously now, but, you know, as the semester goes on, you know, what's working, what's not working with the virtual hybrid recruiting, and, you know, things of that sort. So like I said, really awesome resources to look at there, and I'll go ahead and let Sahil take it from here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Daniel. So the first one is the guide to virtual recruitment. Many of y'all may already be in full swing recruitment already, so recommend definitely opening this one up right after this call. This is going to be that full life cycle of recruitment, where how do I even talk to my brothers on what we're going to do? How do I find these potential members, these prospects via like Facebook, Instagram, Zoom, however. And then how does that process look like? How do we vote? How do we hand out bids? What does that full lifestyle look like? So you really want to make sure that you're really just taking this document and really going into it. These are best practices from chapters who have struggled in the spring as well previously before chapters shut down. I know they spent a lot of time on this, and this is a really great one, especially for those who lead the marketing, the VP memberships, and especially the presidents. Definitely sit down and go through this, and the Master of Ritual is going through as well. On to the next slide, please. the virtual chapter operations guide. As you can see, this one's table of contents is like 50 times longer. You may not want to read it at the first glance, but I promise you this has every single question you may possibly have. I know the presidents in my section could already vouch for it. I just tell them to read a page number and it's there. Going from dues, going to rituals, going to how to sort of deal with these different conversations. This chapter operations guide is, if there's one thing which I could recommend, is send this to all your chapter officers and sit down and talk through it. This is going to have every single thing that you need laid out from the foundational stone, and this is all you need to do is to pull that execution from there. The Heritage Center really did a great job of compiling all this together, and really definitely just reach out to your chapter advisors, section directors, RDs for any questions that you have. But I promise you the answer is going to be in this resource as well. On to the next slide. The Guide to Virtual Bridge to Brotherhood. I know Bridge to Brotherhood is one where everybody's like, hey, how do I provide that experience in a virtual environment? It just doesn't feel the same. And I'm using that with quotes for those who can't see me. So the virtual Guide to Bridge to Brotherhood is really just going to be that full lifestyle cycle, especially for the VP memberships and the presidents who are on the call. What are my now requirements to complete Bridge to Brotherhood? How do I even sit down and plan this? I know Amber's been getting back to everybody on feedback on their processes as well. So definitely make sure that y'all are double checking that as well. And then lastly, what does that engagement look like? And how do I conduct this pledging process all together? How do I shift these educational modules? How do I now execute this fraternal exam? And lastly, how do I make sure that my fellow brothers and members feel engaged with the pledge process? What can we do to make sure that they feel like this is just not another Zoom classroom that's sort of going on? And how can we make sure that this really does feel like a full life cycle? And then lastly, for the MORs, how does the rituals now play in? I know when COVID first started and we thought it was going to blow over in April, that, oh, we could just do all the rituals when we get back to campus. Doesn't really look like it right now. So definitely think about how you could start executing these rituals as well. I know the ritual team, the ritual volunteer team has definitely been adapting these and putting these together. And there's a lot of hard work that went into it to really make sure that that idea and those essence of the rituals do cater through as well. On to the next slide, please. And then lastly, this virtual resources right over here, this calendar of due dates. I'm not sure if everybody could see close enough, but this actually breaks it down by month and what I need to really just look at these different parts. So as a president, what are my priorities? As a chapter advisor, what are my priorities? Your chapter advisors are getting checklists as well throughout this entire time as well. So just really just understanding that, okay, hey, like this semester may feel overwhelming and my professors are giving me like busy work, or I can't even contact them because they don't know how to use Zoom or whatever, whatnot. So really just making sure that, hey, this is what I need to focus on in these 2 to 3 weeks, and this is how we're going to cycle through it. So definitely recommend working with your exec team and your chapter advisor, sitting down and making sure that these deadlines match up with what you're looking at, because it's really going to play a big role in, rather than trying to figure it out the day before the deadline. On to the next slide. I believe that was my last one. Perfect. I'm going to hand it over to our awesome regional director from the Northern Rio Grande, Bailey.
So first, I'm going to stop sharing. So Bailey, you can go ahead and take over your screen.
All right, let's see. Maria, it looks like it's saying host disabled screen share.
Oh, give me 1 second. You know what? I don't know how to turn that off. So you know what? I'll go ahead and share continuously on mine, and then I'll just navigate through. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. That will work.
Perfect. All right. Momentary, everyone.
So I know we saw that question over there with where can we access these guides on the May AKSI website. Yes, that's where you can get all of this information that we're going through today. So that's obviously a great first place to start when trying to find anything. And Jackie mentioned also that it was all sent out via email on August 15th. So you guys can filter back through your emails if you need to find that.
All right. So are you guys able to see my screen where it says my AKSI?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just sign in real quick and then I will let you guide.
Yeah, sorry. I had all the tabs pulled up and everything.
No worries.
Now I'll have to remember.
Just let me know where you need to go.
It's going to be a test for me too today. Okay, so I believe the first part of that slide was talking about the journey. So once you guys log into the My AKSI page, yep, you guys can go over where Maya is under My AKSI, and you can click on My Learning, and that'll take you into your journey. And this basically houses a lot of different learning tracks for you guys. It also has a lot of learning tracks for volunteers as well. So you guys can subscribe to different learning tracks, and it's courses that'll kind of take you through and walk you through the different positions. And I know they look a little long, but they're based on like the time of the year. So it'll walk you through like, what is an MOR supposed to be doing in January? What is the president supposed to be doing in January? What about the section directors? What are we all supposed to be doing as volunteers? So it'll take you through different things like that. And then there's also some courses that are more geared towards just like if you're going to be a speaker at an event, or more of the professional development side of things. So you guys can subscribe to those learning tracks as well. If you need to search for them, there's obviously that search feature up at the top. I believe you guys will be automatically assigned, Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, to their roles. If you're registered as like the secretary, you'll automatically have that one in your learning track, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys will have some stuff there. You can search for some things and get registered for different events as well. I think the next portion was Volunteer Central on this thing. So obviously in the top ribbon, you can, yeah, I just saw Jackie's note. Make sure everyone's reported correctly online. This is just another reason to make sure Chapter Spot is up to date, guys. I know we say that all the time, but it's super, super important. And I mean, it'll make a difference on this as well. So in Volunteer Central, you can come in here. This will list out your volunteer history as you age in AKSI and become a volunteer and all of that stuff. It'll list out some vacancies, and if you scroll down, I think the best part is right here where it talks about the different positions. It kind of lists out what each position does. So you can see there's like chapter advisor, executive vice president, all of that stuff. And then on the right side, there's like case competition judge, education contributor, all of these different things. And so that'll explain to you kind of more about those different roles. So this just gives you a little taste of like some of the volunteer things that you can do for AKSI after you graduate. And then the other really cool piece is the volunteer search pool. So yeah, if you just scroll down a little bit. So there's already several volunteers in here that are willing and able to help out with different chapters. So you can filter it down, and this makes it really easy to reach out to these different volunteers if you guys ever need a speaker or anything like that. So that is that one. I'm trying to be quick because I have a feeling there will be a lot of questions. So I want to make sure we have a lot of time for that at the end. The next one to look at is under the My Groups. So, yep, thank you, Maya. So if we're over here, the two biggest ones I wanted to point out, sorry, as volunteers, we're in like a lot of different groups, but there's the student members and volunteers group, which is great. You can see there's like over 12,000 members in it. And Maya, if you just click on that, please, the yellow link, or yeah. And this will take you into the main page of the group. And this is a great place where you guys can post questions, volunteers can post questions, answers, everybody can communicate with everybody. So this really combines, the chapters. It's, we're all going virtual right now. It's a very difficult time for everybody. Let's all just share ideas, ask questions, get everybody to contribute. And this is the place to do it. So there's so many people involved in this. And, if you ever don't know what to do or you're lost, just come here, make a post. People will respond and get you guys all taken care of. I think the other group in there that I was going to point out also was just the AKSI volunteer group. For any of the volunteers, same concept, but it's just with all the volunteers. So that's another great group if you are a volunteer to make sure that you are in, and so that you guys can see what's going on there. And then let's see, the My AKSI events. So this is going to be really, really important. Like Shane was mentioning earlier, for minimum standards, like we are watching these events. You guys do need to be registering for these events so that you guys can get credit. Yes, as Maya is circling, this create a new event button. Guys, this is huge. This is where you guys need to be creating the events for everything that you're doing during this semester. This will give you an easy way to track, you know, attendance and things like that, and get everybody registered and on the same page. So you guys can create events. And there's also, you know, obviously you'll be able to see all of the other events available. So see, there's the negotiating compensation, all of that stuff that Jackie was mentioning earlier, and all the area town hall kickoffs, all of that jazz. And there will be more and more stuff added in here as the year goes on. So this is a great place to come and check, make sure you guys are putting your events up there as well. Last piece is the knowledge base. So if you click on that, this is where this basically houses just a ton of different documents that fall under each of the categories. So you can just pick a category and it'll open up a page and it'll show you all these different resources that we have for like chapter management, chapter achievement pathway, all of that jazz. But for the virtual guides, if you just go into that little search bar over there and yeah, and you just start typing in like virtual, it should come up. Yeah, see virtual chapter operations guide, virtual bridge to brotherhood, virtual recruitment. So that's the quickest way, in my opinion, to find those things. I don't know if that's necessarily the kosher way to do it, but like that's the quickest way for me. And then you can just click on those and open it up that way. Yep, and then the article is right there in the top right, and you can just click on that and it'll open up. And that's pretty much everything on the My AKSI page highlights. I also do want to say that you can do all of this stuff on the app as well, which is super, super nice, because if you're like me, you're on the go all the time. You may not have your laptop with you 24/7. So the app is also a great place to get in there and see all of this different stuff, register for events, all of that. So that's everything that I have on that. I think, Maya, are you doing the area specific items?
I am, absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you so
perfect.
much, Bailey. So I'm just now trying to efficiently change screens here. I'm learning this as we're going. So I've only done this like once or twice. So I am going to stop sharing just so I know how to easily go back and actually share the proper screen. Thanks for your patience, everyone. All right, so if everything worked out, you should see back to the My AKSI highlights page.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, Bailey, for sharing with us again, as we've been alluding to, all the great resources that are available to everybody with the environment that we're going in now, with everything for the most part being virtual. These are some fantastic resources that are at your disposal, not just by accessing the website, but being on the mobile app as well, to where, again, everything is simply at your fingertips. Even with this being a completely different environment that we're used to, this does not negate the fact that we can still move forward with everything that we've done before. We just have to think outside the box and just, change that direction as far as how we're going to be doing things, at least hopefully in just the short term, but obviously not knowing how much longer we're going to be in this environment. So next, just wanted to go over some area reminders. Again, we know there's a lot of things on your plate, but just kind of keeping things on the top of your mind with what's going on within the area. So as it was mentioned earlier on, the chapter balances are going to be due October 15th. This the fall billing, as well as the insurance, has all been sent out. So everyone in the chapters, presidents, whoever is owning those, should have received those already. So just more of a heads up. Fantastic news. We are having the Region of the Year and Area of the Year awards. Region of the Year, I know we've had many years ago, so we are now reintroducing that. And I believe the Area of the Year awards are completely brand new. So both of these are going to be based off of metrics that are going to be calculated on a scoring system, and something that's going to be awarded at the end of the year. So this is something that we will definitely share with you as time progresses, to let you guys know how that is all encompassed and the logistics behind that. And then also I'll plug as well, as far as your pledges, once they're going through the Bridge to Brotherhood, just make sure that they are being reported through Chapter Spot on My AKSI within the 7 days of induction. So at this time, I like to open it up to everyone. Again, what I love about these meetings is that we can keep it an open forum with everyone easily having access to this. But with us having all the regions available here, I'd like to know what's working for some of your chapters already. I know some schools have already started with the semester and so forth on, but even historically, I can't imagine this being the first times we've ever used some of these virtual tools as far as, social media and Zoom and team setting and so forth on. But I'd like to open it up to the group to share some of your experiences that you guys have done as a chapter. You can either unmute yourself or you can just go ahead and chat in the chat box. No? Does any of the RDs have any good tips or anything, or even the section directors on the line have any good tips or things that you may have seen as well?
Andrea, on the call we had earlier, what was the site that the students were talking about for the meetings?
Air Meet. I can't talk about it, but it's called Air Meet.
So it's Air Meet. If you haven't used it, guys, it sounded
free.
It's free. I haven't used it, but it's pretty much like if you're walking into the virtual conference rooms. So you can walk in as a group, then split up into the different conference rooms if you need to meet up or meet different people or mingle with them, and they seat you around a conference table. So Air Meet, that sounds
Bailey, thank you.
And then the other idea that they gave, which was similar to Air Meet, was, I don't know if you guys have seen what the NBA is doing now. So you can go to the game and they crop you out and they put you in a seat, if you're literally sitting next to someone. So when you're watching the screen, it's not all these different squares, but it looks like if you're all sitting next to each other, utilizing that concept to have meetings for engagement with the students and different things. So that's amazing. Oh, you see, look. So I mean, if you don't mind unmuting yourself and letting us know if you've used Air Me, how that's gone for you in the university, you've used it for recruitment. That would be great if someone has used Air Me, because we couldn't get enough of it in the call earlier today.
Yeah, sure. I guess it's kind of just a place for different organizations to kind of meet at the same time, and really for students to hop on to different organizations. So that's what they've been doing for Washington State University. We've been having 200 to 300 different organizations kind of on the same time. So it really is a wonderful place for everyone to hop onto different tables as if they're kind of just socializing in different tables. And it's been working good. And we have another one coming up in later in September. So we're hoping to kind of get more people out of that. So yeah, Air Meet's been great and a good new resource to learn about.
Thank you very much for that. I mean, yeah, there's a plethora of resources out there, and I'm starting to learn a lot about them myself just because of the environment that we're into. So thank you so much for sharing that. We have a comment here from John. Yes, please make sure that with your faculty members, they are talking up the fact that they are a member of AKSI, and that'll absolutely help with your recruitment as well. If you have ties with your faculty members, if you have thoughts of, asking them, hey, are there any students in your classrooms that have taken a big interest in leadership or anything like that? I mean, that's a fantastic way to use those recruitment sources as well, because again, a lot of us, myself included, from my many years of being in AKSI, I'm used to having that table in front of me, so this is definitely different, but good point, John. Thank you so much. We have a comment here from Jacob. We started using Remind 101 since some members said our normal modes of communication were getting drowned out by school emails. And Jacob, you bring up a good point with a lot of the ways that we're going now. There's so many different avenues of communicating. Do you mind sharing a little bit of what that is and how you guys leverage that?
Yeah, so we've used a Facebook page as well as Slack for our exec board, but just some people had said, I think it's the main way that Facebook organizes posts. It's just hard to keep track of everything, and so we've started using Google Calendar as well, just so it's on people's radar. But then an hour or 15 minutes before an event, usually send out a Remind 101 just to make sure everybody knows at least something is happening. And since it's so easy to hop on Zoom, people have said that they'd like the Remind 101 system a little better.
That's awesome.
I just want to add too with Remind, it's there's another benefit. You don't have to download the app on your phone. There's also a way to kind of like text a specific number, and it automatically enrolls you into the phone number system. So you get like text reminders directly onto your phone. So Remind has been working really effective for us. We've been having it for the past 5 years, and it's super easy tool for us to send out chapter reminders, e-board meeting reminders, and just any other major events that are required for members.
So is that something that one person manages, or is that something that anybody can leverage if they're sending a notification about anything that's happening within the chapter?
So, so far, our VP of Communication has been managing that, and he's also the person who reaches out to each and every chair in case they have anything that they want to share for all of membership. So he's the one who kind of manages all of that, since he also notes down the minutes. So he just makes a list of things that needs to go on the Remind app, and he manages the list altogether. But we have been looking into possibly giving everybody access, but we also don't want any of our members to also misuse it, because it is easy to just send out like, random things on there. So, so far it is our VP of Communication who's been using it.
That sounds like a fantastic tool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think I might end up using that just for work. But that sounds like a really good tool, and just to hear that it's been around for such a long time as well, it's great. Does anyone else have any other tips to share, or again, anything that's been working well within your own respective chapters? Okay, well, again, thank you so much for sharing. Definitely, use the resources that Bailey was talking about, as far as being able to chat resources, or even look at stuff through the different groups out there, because that is going to be probably your number one stop to continue collaborating and sharing those resources with your peers, not just solely within your chapters, but you have such a widespread of resources available to you, not just the alumni or the staff members, but definitely your peer chapters too. So such a great avenue, such a great channel to be able to utilize. So again, looking at our slide here, just some takeaways from today's meeting, utilizing those chapter resource guides. There is a plethora of information out there, from the operations guide to the Bridge to Brotherhood. So definitely go ahead and utilize that. Again, what Bailey was talking about is, once you do log on to myaksci.com, just type in the word virtual in the search engine, and then the list of different documents that you can leverage will be out there. Again, same thing with the role-specific learning plans. Now that we're getting into the semesters, or you've already begun your semesters, for all of those role-specific positions, you can definitely leverage those. And there are learning plans that are released the second Thursday of each month. Again, Bailey leveraged the My AKSI, so the volunteer group. And then again, the same message we've been sharing throughout the entire meeting is, please don't be afraid to ask questions. We know we are in a completely new atmosphere, something that we are not used to, and please be sure to ask questions to us. We will be here at your, at any moments, just like your president and your EVP. We also have an open door policy too. So, we're always here to help and so forth on. But to kind of close things out, we did want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us today. We hope you had some information to take away from, whether it be through the presentations or some of the resources that everyone has shared. We know and understand that this is something different. It's going to be a different kind of year, and sure, there will be questions along the way. But please rest assured that each of the volunteers are always here to support you through this journey and are available at any time. What makes AKSI stand out, I'm going to use Sahil's air quotes, different from a club, is our brotherhood. Our drive to succeed, our unity, and our strive to make an impact is what makes us simply amazing. And I want to thank you guys for everything that you have done thus far and will be doing as we go into this new semester, these new years. Does anyone have any other questions, thoughts before I let you guys go?
Just one thing, Maya, sorry.
Yes.
One thing I just want to hit on, I know a lot of y'all are also stressed with, look, like, I don't know how I'm going to run this organization, but how am I also going to recruit for my own job or my own internship as well? Like, use the network. Like, I tell my section, like between like Austin, San Antonio, like, we're all so close by, talk to each other, help each other. I think the LinkedIn AKSI page is super awesome. There's like thousands of people on here. Like don't forget, at the end of it, you came to AKSI to grow as an individual, grow as a business leader. Use the network. Your alumni want to refer you, your alumni want to help you, and it doesn't have to be from your own chapter. Like, I think the best part about virtual right now is there's no limit right now. Anybody could talk to anybody across. Find the people, ask your volunteers and stuff, hey, do you know anybody in finance, do you know somebody in the medical field? Like, utilize the network now more than ever, because especially the way the economy is going, like, we really just need to come together at this point and really help out. But yeah, Maya, back over to you. Sorry about that.
No, that you made an excellent point. Thank you so much for sharing that. So if there is nothing else, thank you once again, everyone, for your time today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and go watch some football. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Who that?
Sandra, when you asked, do we all have to do fraternity-wide events or just the chapter? Fraternity-wide events is the percent of your chapter, so each individual that participates in a fraternity-wide event, and then there's a separate minimum expectation for the percent of your chapter that's going to your chapter-specific events.
Okay, thank you. I was just like, don't really want to conduct a whole frat event.
No. We take care of that for you. There's a lot of different events to register for. If it's the monthly calls, if it's the Institute for Business Leadership, if it's town halls, things like this, those all count as fraternity-wide events. And then for your chapter specific, to keep track of it, you create the event to the website, and then your individual members have to register for it so they can keep track and they can keep get their points for that they are going to those events. So obviously you don't have to create one for every chapter meeting, but if you have a phenomenal speaker coming that's on an off day on a Tuesday while maybe your chapter meetings are Thursday, they would have to register for that event.
Okay. And then what is the scoring system about? Like, about the Area 1
region of
award?
Region of the year. Yeah, so excellent question. So yeah, I'm not on mute. So excellent question. So that's going to be based off of a point system on essentially the minimum expectations that Shane shared earlier today. So that'll be encompassed in some of that. There are some bonus objectives as well. So we'll definitely be sure to share that with you. But a lot of it is being with, again, those 6 different expectations that we shared earlier on in this session. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, so a little bit of history behind that. When we realigned all the regions, so a few years ago we used to have 13 regions. Now we have 16 regions. They took away region of the year, which was something that the regional directors loved as volunteers, like a motivation for them as well, on like keeping us engaged as higher level volunteers on what to do. So we decided this year to bring back some of those awards and even add the Area of the Year awards.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
It is a great way to push everybody, so that everybody kind of ups their game.
Absolutely. Everybody loves a little bit of friendly competition between brothers,
Oh,
right?
yes, we do. Yeah, coming from someone that has won a #1 region award. Yes.
Very cool. Great questions. Anyone else have any additional questions?
Hi, I have a question if that's okay.
Of course.
So I was taking notes throughout the presentation and I see that the chapter minimum standards is now chapter minimum expectations. I see that we should have at least 50% of members in attendance for each of the meetings. Are members still held to the standard of maybe being on suspended for financial or non-attendance if they don't meet individual requirements? I just wanted to see if there's any clarification there.
So for number 3 specifically is chapter events, not necessarily your chapter meeting. So like if you were doing something outside of your regular meeting, from my understanding. And for your chapter meetings, if they're not attending, as far as so I know it's accumulation of missing 3 events that they could be brought up to vote to be dismissed. So that's not an automatic thing. That's actually up to the chapter. So if you guys want to discuss that, I think that's a great opportunity for you to reach out to your chapter advisor and your research coordinator, Amber, and walk through that. Because I know that we're in the environment that we're in. So you might want to give a little bit more flexibility to that as well.
Okay, thank you for the guidance.
Hey, Jackie, can you clarify? That's not just chapter events specifically, right? They can be regional events, area events, fraternity-wide events.
Those events are the fraternity-wide events. The chapter events is chapter-specific events. However,
okay,
your chapter, like let's say you're honestly, any size chapter, doesn't even have to be a smaller chapter. Like, hey, I can't do that many chapter events. If you partner with another chapter throughout the section, that could be considered a chapter event. But again, for those clarifications, or like, like when we get into those one-off questions, that is like, if I were to write a handbook of like resource coordinator 101, what to utilize them for, what to call them for, these are those instances, sorry. But those are good clarifying questions.
Anyone else? Great conversations. All right, well then I will go ahead and let you guys go. So please do enjoy your day. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free at any time to reach out to us.